Welcome everyone to Nintendo Game Talk. I was going to be done for the night. I wasn't going to stream anymore. I wasn't going to make any more videos. However, I happened to see this and it was a few hours old. So I'm not breaking any news here. And I don't normally break news, but this is very interesting to me. And it's more information of Pokemon Sword and Shield. And this comes to us from metro.co.uk. Jesus, could you have any more ads? Okay, so this talks about the open areas in Pokemon Sword and Shield. And let's see here. We says let's see some information here. I didn't read through the whole article yet. Here we go. Let's read this little bit right here. It says Game Freak have never been a very technically capable developer, and while this is the best looking Pokemon game so far, there are certainly no envelopes being pushed in terms of the visuals. That's a little bit disappointing here, but a lot of people know this already. The battles in particular will disappoint many, as well as while the animation is quite good and is presented is still the same as always, going back all the way to Pokemon Stadium, and yet when we got a little bit further, we came to the wild area. This is where it gets very interesting, which is perhaps the most intriguing part of the game, both visually and in terms of gameplay. The wild area is a fairly open world location, which the Pokemon Company rep on hand estimated that it was about the size of 2 regions from Zelda Breath of the Wild. Wow, that information right there completely changes this to me, for me anyways. I know a lot of people are hesitant to be positive about this game, but for me this is it's a game changer. Okay, let's look at the Breath of the Wild map. I believe I had it saved on here, but let's see. I think I do have it saved on here. Go just open. Let's look at the Breath of the Wild map. I know it's a mess. It's a mess. Don't judge me. Don't judge me. So we're talking about, and this is, it's a weird point of reference, you know, to reference Breath of the Wild regions, because to me, you know, you look at the Breath of the Wild map. How do you divide this? I get, okay, so there's a Gerudo Desert, so obviously, so we would probably draw a line right here, right? Gerudo Desert. That's probably fair to say. But then, okay, and then you got the Hyrule Field, right? Where does that end? Where exactly does the border to Hyrule Field end? It's not really distinct. You know what I'm saying here? I guess these two are similar in size. Death Mountain is maybe like, what? Is this part also Death Mountain? Probably not, right? So any part that's mountain, I would say. So we'll take those 3 regions there. And Pokemon, one of the wild areas is going to be twice the size of one of these, which is huge. It's gigantic, man. I'm starting to get on this Pokemon Sword and Shield train. Initially I was just okay on it. But hearing this news, I'm starting to think that this is a way bigger game that they're letting on. He says, as such, there are now 3 main ways to encounter Pokemon. Seeing them out in the open, which happens outside in the wild area. Approaching them, like in Pokemon Let's Go. That's cool. I am actually glad that they kept that, because I really did like that in Pokemon Let's Go. I do like the randomness of just getting attacked in long grass, which it's still on there. Getting attacked at random in long grass. So it's still an option, but they still added that you can physically see them and run into them. That's really cool. I really appreciate that. Hey, Junior Nintendo and Zachary, what's going on, buddies? But yeah, this is just, I just wanted to, let's see, what else is in this article? Because this seems to cover all bases, and you can even creep slowly through the grass if you don't want to disturb it, or whilst if you purposely attract Pokemon. Let's see. On the assumption that that its later evolutions would probably be cooler. We chose Sopple, the water lizard Pokemon, as our starter, but quickly got together a party of more common Pokemon. Unfortunately, we're not allowed to tell you about any of the new ones we saw. We're not allowed to say which old ones are present either. Beyond that information already known, although you can see Xatu, Lotad, Hoot Hoot, and Pelipper in the footage released today, which ironically we didn't encounter while playing. Wow, that's pretty cool. What we can say is we liked almost all the new designs, and if you think about some common British birds and mammals, all the obvious ones are represented via Pokemon equivalents. That includes the one Galarian variant we did spot, the new Zigzagoon and Linoon, or Linoon, whatever, that now look more like British Badgers than they did originally. That's cool. The turn-based combat works essentially the same as always did, and unlike Pokemon Let's Go, you do have to chip away at Pokemon's health and capture them manually. That's great to hear, but at the same time, everybody that was complaining, saying because Pokemon Let's Go Pikachu and Let's Go Eevee sold 10 million copies, that the next iteration of Pokemon was going to be exactly like that. Well, all those people can now quiet. The presentation makes everything as clear as possible for newcomers, but nothing seems to be dumbed down in terms of combat. Although, what will raise eyebrows is that every Pokemon in your party earns experience at the same rate automatically without the need for experience share or any other external factor. That's fine. I like that. We already learned about the Dynamaxing, but not Gigantamaxing, as introduced surprisingly early and allows you to grow any Pokemon to giant size for a few rounds, increasing their stats and powering up a unique move each. This is pretty cool. Hold on. Oh, here we go. The wild area is dotted with little rock piles that are layers for naturally Dynamaxing Pokemon, which can only be beaten as a team. That is so cool, man. I really like that they added that in there. Although the online options weren't turned on for a playtest, so we had to put up with some so-so computer allies. Oh, you can get computer allies in there too. Competing in raid battles rewards you with all in-game currency. Okay, anything else? Oh, in the wild area, we could see the little interface for the YCOM online app pop up, indicating that under normal circumstances, you would be able to communicate and play with other people online. Okay, this is cool. Unfortunately, the hour and a half was over all too quickly, and we were left desperately wanting more, which is, of course, the best sign possible. Pokemon fans, like most gamers, are never happy. Jeez, that's pretty blunt. And we're sure that there'll be complaints about the graphics and the minutiae of the gameplay. I don't know if I said that right. But the bottom line is that this is the biggest step forward the series has seen in a long while. Awesome to hear. That's great to hear. Whether all those steps are wise ones, we'll have to see. But Pokemon is evolving, and Sword and Shield represent its most impressive form so far. That's really good. That's really good. Okay. I wanted to also touch maybe. Let's see. Does this talk about? Because I did see another article. I heard people talking about it. That you're going to run into high-level Pokemon. And that's really cool. Early on. I don't think that they talk about this here. But let's talk about that real quick. Let's see. I want to make this video short, so I don't want to go... Oops. Sorry about that. Oof. I don't want to go too far. And I'm sorry if anyone's been talking to me. I'm trying to get this done as quick as possible. 6 watching. Jackson, yo! Finally caught a stream. But the trees! Trees! This is pleasing news. It is. It's very pleasing news. We got 8 minutes, 35 seconds. We could do a couple more minutes. I want to keep this video short and sweet. Let's see. Let's see. Pokemon Sword and Shield, high level enemies, level Pokemon. I'm sure there's got to be an article about that. Previews reveal new details about towns. Let's go to Eurogamer. Pretty good website there. Let's see. The wild area is large, mostly grassy expanse in the middle of the Galar region's map. Pokemon roam freely in the overworld like you do in all of Sword and Shield's long grass areas. And the system similar to Let's Go. Okay. Hold on a second. The significant difference with the wild area is if you wander into the wrong part of it, you'll discover that the wild Pokemon can now be drastically over-leveled. It's a series first, and it honestly feels like the bravest thing Game Freak has done for a while. You could always dip your toe into the odd higher level route on the other side of the city, say, but never get caught in a battle with a level 50 third state evolution mon with your starter and a level 6 Pidgey. In Sword and Shield, it has a striking effect. It reminds me of some of the oldest games in the series where there was real element of intimidation from some areas. Thank you, that's what we needed. Back then, this was because of a fear of the unknown and a spot of imagination filling in the blanks. But now, it's because seeing a whopping great Pokemon 5 times your level is enough to intrigue and inspire. I love it when games do this, I agree. Give you a taste of something far off to aim for or to take care of when you come back. I love muttering something, I'll see you later, to a Snorlax I accidentally tussled with that wiped out most of my underpowered team. I love having a glimpse of an unusual place I know I'll be back visiting again for more. As do I, friend. Or even a glimpse at more powerful moves I could have. With the kind of vendor in the wild area, which it seemed I could grind out a dedicated currency for. What? If I really wanted to and buy super strong TMs with early on. Wait a minute. Wait. What? Say that. Well, let me read that. I love having a glimpse of an unknown place I know I'll be back visiting again for more, or even a glimpse at more powerful moves I could have with the kind of vendor in the wild area, which it seems I could grind out a dedicated currency for if I really wanted to. But is he saying that like that's a thing, or is he saying like it would be cool if that was real? Because that sounds amazing right there. It's also just generally a surprising move away from the spoon-fed simplicity of more recent Pokemon games. Yes, I also agree with that. That's counteracted though with the updated map. There's now an objective marker on there and a little sentence on the top left reminding you of what to do next. Oh, thank you, because that's one thing. It's Pokemon games have always been a little bit too vague with what to do next. A pleasant quality of life update that's more about modernizing Pokemon as an RPG than dumbing down. Don't worry, and it makes the town map a much more central part of your adventure than it has been in games gone past. Okay, wait a minute. Now, it's talking about the challenge. About the challenge itself, it's obviously hard to judge given the slice of game that I've played. I can tell you first battle with your rival coming straight after you choose your starter, as always does. Sees him having 2 Pokemon instead of 1. It makes a little difference. Just use your single damage dealing attack continuously. That's a given. Obviously, they can't. I mean, I guess they could do the first battle super challenging, but as always, and you'll beat them both. And being the very first battle of the game, it's hardly a proper gauge of what's to come, but an interesting tweak nonetheless. Okay. All right. I think that's good. Anybody? Let's see. So many good news. You've actually sparked some interest in me for this game. I had almost none before. I mean, I had interest in it, but I didn't have as much as I do now. That whole like higher level Pokemon reminds me, what a lot of people what they're saying reminds them of something like Xenoblade Chronicles, right? When you see the high level enemies, I really enjoy that. I really enjoy that, and just the fact that one region of the map in Breath of the Wild is gigantic. It's gigantic. People maybe people aren't forgetting how big these are. Go back and play it. Go back and look at these regions. They're huge. To say that the open area is twice that. Now, I don't know. I'm not sure if there's more than one open area or if that's the one open area, but even if it's just the one open area, that's still a gigantic open area. I'm super happy with that. That's Breath of the Wild, when it released, was one of the largest game maps ever made. So I don't mind if the open area is that big. It's huge. It's bigger than I ever expected it would be. So I'm super happy. So I just wanted to touch on that and talk about it a little bit. And that's it. So, yeah. So thank you guys for tuning in. And until next time, my name is Andy, and this is Think Game Talk.